Coming up today on Houston Life, we are honoring Juneteenth with powerful stories of hope and community. We'll visit the small town of Kendleton in western Fort Bend County, established by emancipated slaves after the Civil War, to highlight an effort to transform the town's garden into not just a source of fresh food, but also to create employment and empower the community.
Plus, this year's Juneteenth celebrations are going deeper than ever at the Nia Cultural Center in Galveston. The official Juneteenth return is happening tonight. It'll feature performances, storytelling, and a homecoming to the place where the announcement of freedom finally made its way to Texas. We're getting a sneak peek on this special Juneteenth edition of Houston Life.
Live from Studio B and KPRC2, Houston Life starts now. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this very special Juneteenth edition of Houston Life. I'm Derek Schroer. We'll check in with Tessa in just a few moments. 160 years ago, June 19th, 1865, the very last slaves were freed when General Gordon Granger and his troops arrived in Galveston and read General Order Number 3 to announce that all enslaved people were free. It's important to note this was 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had officially freed slaves nationwide. So, as these newly freed people in Texas started to move forward with their lives and build communities, one of their settlements became what is now known as Houston's original black neighborhood, the historic Freedmen's Town. Joining us now with more on this neighborhood's past and its future, Sharon Fletcher, Executive Director of the Freedmen's Town Conservancy. Sharon, it's so nice to have you in studio.
Thank you for having me.
The history of Freedmen's Town is so critical because, as you and I were just discussing during the break, these are things that many of us were not taught in our history books. We were not taught this in school classrooms. Right. And that is part of your mission today, to spread the word, remind people of how it all went down.
Absolutely. The work that we're doing, the Houston Freedmen's Town Conservancy, the work that we're doing literally is based on the foundation of being able to protect the story, be able to tell that story, preserve that story, educate and engage folks. And we're able to do that through the efforts of the Houston Freedmen's Town, the Freedmen's Town Visitor Center, which is located right in Freedmen's Town. So like you said, because there's so much not written in our history books, we have that job and that charge of telling the story of Freedmen's Town, and a beautiful story it is.
In case Houstonians or anyone watching this program has not been to Freedmen's Town, essentially 4th Ward, directly west of downtown Houston.
Yes.
This is where you're located. This visitor center, I understand, people are coming from literally all over the world to visit and to see historical photos like the ones we're seeing on our screen right now.
Absolutely. We, since the Freedmen's Town Visitor Center has opened last year, we opened last year, May 30th. So we just kind of made a year being an official location. But we've had folks come through from the Netherlands, from Austria, from Germany. We've had folks come from New York and Seattle and Washington, D.C. to come and have this cultural experience with us. We did an article with New York Times, and it featured 36 hours in Houston. And we literally had folks come from New York and Seattle to come and tour Freedmen's Town, but also kayak on the bayou. So pretty interesting opportunity. But yeah, people are searching for those cultural destinations and experiences.
And I love that people from around the world are also searching for answers. And there is this curiosity about part of our past that, again, many of us did not learn about.
Right.
You told me that you grew up in a family where Juneteenth was always celebrated.
Yeah.
It did not become an official federal holiday until then President Joe Biden signed it into law back in 2021.
Yep.
This is something your mother got to see before she passed away.
Oh, yeah. And her words were, "It's about time." And as I shared with you, I had been celebrating Juneteenth since I was about 4 or 5 years old. We were getting together, gathering with the family, celebrating together our connectedness, which is something that Juneteenth does for us. It brings us together. And so being in this space where we're celebrating 160 years, we hope that people find it inspirational and necessary to come and connect with the community of Freedmen's Town, learn more about the story and the people that were there. We're talking about the last enslaved people who were freed in Galveston, in the Galveston and the surrounding areas, who come to Houston and who build a community literally from nothing. Where they settled was the South Banks of Buffalo Bayou. It was a swamp area.
Yeah.
And so now we get to see what was a thriving community, but our work is literally harnessed in bringing that back, bringing that interest back into Freedmen's Town, and so that people understand the history that was there. At one point in time, there were over 400 black businesses in Freedmen's Town.
Wow.
95% of the black middle class lived in Freedmanstown. It boasted barbershops, shoe repair stores, drug stores. You had the Rainbow Theater. You had Colored Carnegie Library. You had the Pilgrims Building, which is a place where all African Americans can go and get resources, but they also ran their businesses out of those spaces. So this community was built on faith, family, education, entrepreneurship, and community at the end of the day. And so we're doing our very, very best to continue to push those efforts forward through our Building What We Started campaign, which is a way for us to be able to reclaim the narrative, the story and the history of not only Freedmanstown, but also for Juneteenth and the journey of African Americans. And so people understand it's not just Houston's history, it's not just black history, but it's American history.
Well, and talk about resilience, too. I'm so glad you pointed out that when folks were settling in the Fourth Ward, historic Freedmanstown, I mean, the swampy banks of Buffalo Bayou, that they were able to take that and create a thriving black community. Do you find that when you are telling the story of Freedmanstown, that a common response you get from people is just surprise and like, oh, I didn't know that?
People are very much so surprised, but it also is an opportunity to make a point that black folks had the ingenuity, the intelligence, they were innovative, so they knew how to build spaces. This is what they had been doing all of their lives. So to be surprised that a community like Freedmanstown would be erected out of freedom and emancipation, it shouldn't surprise people at all. As a matter of fact, there's a fun fact that we tell people all the time. It's not necessarily just a fun fact, but it's the truth. When Hurricane Harvey came, everybody else was looking for electricity and floodwaters were everywhere. Freedmanstown was bone dry and they had electricity.
They had figured a few things out there in Freedmanstown.
They absolutely did.
So this year, because it's been 160 years since the message of emancipation reached Galveston by federal order, what are some of the ways you're going to look back and commemorate this date?
So what we're doing to honor and commemorate 160 years of not only emancipation, but 160 years of community as well for Freedmanstown. Freedmanstown is referred to as the child of Juneteenth. We were born right out of that particular event. But on June 19th, we will be celebrating our Juneteenth Fest. And so we're inviting people to come out, be with us on that day from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Musical performances. There's some poetry. There's some workshops that'll be there. And more importantly, we'll be having conversation with Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. There'll be tickets available for sale, and then we'll be dancing it out at the end of the night. And then the very next day, we have a rhythmic performance that will be over at the historical Bethel Church. Tickets are $25. Come out and join us.
Well, and that is an incredible church, by the way, for Houstonians or anyone, again, watching this who has not been out to Freedmanstown in the historic Fourth Ward. Get on out there, especially for Juneteenth, but year-round, there is always something going on.
Yes.
Even just walking through the streets.
Yes.
Walking through those cobblestone streets, there is something I cannot describe the feeling there.
Yeah.
It's a historic place.
It's the work of our ancestors. Those brick streets are over 100 years old. They were laid by the residents who lived there in Freedmanstown. And part of our work is to continue to preserve those. We have a project that's happening right now where people will see the full restoration and preservation of those streets, late 2027, early 2028 sometime. But that's part of the work that we're doing. And it does do something to you just to be there and stand there and be in space and community with the ancestors who came before us, who did that work.
Well, Sharon Flesher, thank you so much for doing that work.
Thank you.
And for telling these stories and keeping them alive. It's an honor to have you in studio
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you are welcome anytime. Happy Juneteenth, y'all. To learn more about the Freedmanstown Conservancy, you can look for the scene on Houston Life section of our website, HoustonLife.tv.
Welcome back to Houston Live. Earlier this month, June 1st to be exact, Juneteenth Houston Freedom Festival launched the Black Neighborhoods Quilt Project. It's a growing tapestry of history, resilience, and pride. Here with more on this powerful initiative is committee member for Juneteenth Houston, Tarsha Gary. Welcome to Studio B, Tarsha.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're so thrilled to have you here. And in front of us, we are looking at really parts of something that is so special because it's so much more than a quilt quilt that you guys are assembling. Can you explain?
Absolutely. This is the Black Neighborhoods Quilt Project, and we are excited, Juneteenth Houston, to bring this one-of-a-kind, first-in-the-nation idea of a collaborative, a collection of quilt squares from 7 neighborhoods here in Houston. Those neighborhoods are ones that we recognize. I'm representing 3rd Ward. We have 4th Ward, 5th Ward, Sunnyside, Independence Heights. You name it, we're here to bring this collection of works, their art pieces, their preservation items, to represent our story culturally and to leave a record. It's a preservation effort, really.
And tell your story the way you have it, the way you have experienced it is so important. We are looking right now at videos of different people with their different panels, and this is one you have on display, the 4th Ward, Freedmen's Town, so iconic here in Houston, such a rich part of history. And you have contributed to this quilt as well. What is your experience? What story did you want to tell with your panel?
Well, I am Chef Tarsha Gary, really known in the city, and my organization is Ecotone World, and we put in community gardens. It's an advocacy for feeding ourselves, and so it's a resilience piece. This piece here is one that I'm doing. It represents our community garden.
Here.
Sure.
We're holding it up. Go ahead.
Represents our community garden. It's hand stitched by me. I brought this today to show folks that you don't have to know how to quilt, or you don't have to have a certain type of way to quilt. This is applique. It's telling the story of the mascot of our garden, which is a big red oak tree, about 200 years old. And I plan on putting a little airplane here to show those trips going back and forth to Hobby.
We're also familiar with those planes.
Yeah.
And each quilt, I mean, each submission form, you kind of ask people to document their experience and why they are contributing. What have you learned from all these submission forms that you're getting?
It's very interesting because, as I said, this is a preservation effort. And so different people, as we can see with these different quilts, different people have different stories. There are different ways to say, this is what represents my neighborhood, my culture. You have photos, you have embroidery. This is one from 5th Ward representing, and they've got a little nickel. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
So there are absolutely different ways to do it. You can use your machine to quilt. You can hand stitch. You can press pieces on fabric. But all of this is a collection to say that your story matters, whatever it is. Perhaps it is just a piece of fabric that your grandmother had and is dear to you.
And this is so hyper local. When you read some of the submissions, they say, hey, I grew up in Spring, or my grandpa was a member of this society, and he worked this land, and my uncle was actually this person. And it's really a way of interweaving not just stories of struggle, but really stories of triumph and Black excellence.
Absolutely.
I noticed on this, can you tell us about this panel? Because this one stuck out to me. Pauline Garza Patton, she was actually the first woman voter in Houston, and this is such a strong piece, and it'll be a part of the quilt.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these will be a part of the quilt, and this is just an example of how we can preserve strong pieces, historic narrative in the dialogue of the quilt. This quilt actually is on a larger scale. It's a national invitation for.
How do people submit their submissions? How do people submit their panels?
We have an open call. It's a call to action now for asset institutions, right? Our churches, our schools, our Girl Scout, Boy Scout clubs, whatever, that you can send your blocks in to Community Artist Collective, located here in Houston. And we also have a couple of quilt project days. So if you don't know how to quilt, this piece here was done by a young lady, never quilted at all.
Wow.
She came out to our Freedom Fest kickoff on the 1st, and look what she produced. So we're able to impart this life skill and a historic, something you can pass down.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Also, that collective is located on Fannin Street, so people can go look at the calendar of events. What kind of Juneteenth events do you have planned?
My gosh, we have so many events. Go to JuneteenthHouston.org. We've got upcoming, we had the porch stories recently. At my garden, we've got hot dog. It's Juneteenth. We'll be giving out hot dogs and telling you about agriculture. So many. There are art exhibits. As you see, a lot.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. And Tarsha, Gary, thank you so much, not only for spearheading this project, but for inviting everyone to contribute their stories and their narratives. If you want more on the Black Neighborhoods Quilt Project, visit our website as well, HoustonLife.tv. All right, still ahead, you are invited to watch History in Motion tonight at the NIA Cultural Center's official Juneteenth return. We're giving you a first look at how artists are reclaiming Juneteenth in the place where it all began. But first, we'll visit a small town rooted in African American history and meet Houston chef Chris Williams, who is turning the community garden into a sustainable food source.
When I speak to a lot of the residents, one of the biggest things that they wanted were peas, black-eyed peas, because a lot of them have home farms or definitely grew up with home farms, and peas were one of their favorite things for some reason. So that right there will be the pea patch, and that will be in before the end of the month.
Okay, we'll have more from the garden when Houston Life returns.
Welcome back to this special Juneteenth edition of Houston Life. About 40 miles southwest of Houston lies the small town of Kendleton in Fort Bend County. The last census count shows a population of 343 people.
In an effort to help create a brighter future and to fight food insecurity, the nonprofit Lucille's 1913 is cultivating a garden that represents an important part of African American history.
We're at Bates Island Farm in Kendleton, Texas, Fort Bend County. This land was taken with Reconstruction by newly emancipated people, and this was, all of Kendleton was known for its farming practices. They had some of the best in the state, known specifically for watermelons. It's also home to like the first African American postmaster general was from Kendleton and buried over there near the river. So it's a lot of rich history, and a lot of the founding families, descendants still live here. Very few communities that are left anywhere. I can say they've actually been here since the establishment of this community and have like a true blood connection to the genesis of this space. Kendleton is, this is not a place of poverty. Like, these people are comfortable and they've owned their land for generations, like literally, but they're still 15 miles away from any fresh food sources, which makes it 30-mile commute to go get anything fresh. And thankfully, with the vision of the county judge's office, the Fort Bend County Parks Department, and the commissioner's office, they gave us the opportunity to grow specifically for the residents of Kendleton and let this be an asset to them as it was back in the day. When the Fort Bend County judge's office first introduced me to former Mayor Humphrey, Darrell Humphrey, he is a direct descendant of one of the founding fathers of this community, which was established, I believe, in like 1886, right, with Reconstruction. And then doing more research before we came out here and started to do the work, I found out that a part of my family, not blood relatives, but family, deep family, the Altons were a part of the founding fathers of this community as well. So it's a huge honor, like, to be involved in this, what I consider to be sacred ground as a Texan, as an African American. The purpose of the garden is several things. One, it's meant to be an asset to the community. We want this to be a place to where, much like with our nonprofit, or with the work that we were doing with 1913, when we started out delivering meals and cooking for people's palates, and that's how we were like uniquely positioned to hit people with dignity as opposed to just giving them exactly what they need, which is starch, protein, and vegetables. We're able to give you that, plus flavor, plus nutrition, and real consideration of you. Like, that's what made us unique. So we've taken that exact same approach to farming. We're not growing things that this community doesn't treasure or know about. We don't waste space, we don't waste time with it. So this is truly an asset for Kendleton and ultimately supported by Kendleton. The project that we're working on right now is that we're creating a compost agricultural exchange program, to where we get the residents of Kendleton to compost. We go by and we pick up the compost once a week. We bring it on site to the farm and we compost through this piece of equipment. So their waste becomes our compost, which becomes a fertilizer for this farm, which serves them. So then what that means is they get to reap the benefits of their waste. It's cyclical, and it'll be the first community that I know of in Texas that's collectively reducing their carbon footprint while also eating hyper-local food. We hope that it has an impact on the residents because that's who we built it for. The majority of the residents in Kendleton proper, and I think it's like around 387, are 65 plus. So they're used to homegrown, fresh, good food that's grown by their own family, specifically for their own taste. So this is essentially bringing that back. When our gates are open, when the team's out here working, they come and they take, but they're pretty involved. These beds here are the ones that are built by the community members in one church, and we see Miss Patterson over there working on her piece. On the far right next to the road is where we have wildflower seeds in, because we need to have pollinators at all times. That's why we also have the sunflower seeds. The next two patches, and it's the green in the center, those are habaneros, and we actually use the habaneros in an interesting way to where we grind them up, and that acts as like a pesticide. Then we have okra, we have eggplant, we have red bell peppers, green bell peppers, banana peppers, and then on that trellis there, we have 4 different types of tomatoes growing, but mostly grape tomatoes. Over in this quadrant is our watermelon patch. We're also, and this is a cool thing that I'm really excited about, is that we had the idea to insert roads that run through the farm to have different access points. And so each road is going to be named after one of the founding families. So there'll be like Humphrey Way and Alton Drive, just to make it more like immersive history. And behind us over here, this will be our Black Eyed Pea patch. So some other programs that we have outside of the farms are that we are the lone food provider for Bezos Day One Academies, which are in low-income areas, and there are currently 4 locations around Houston in Magnolia, Denver Harbor, North Shore, and Sunnyside. And then we also feed all those beautiful babies over to Monty's school, and that's like 450 kids, and it goes from pre-K to 8th grade, and Amani's like a HBCU for babies, so as much information they're putting in their heads, we want to try to match that with nutrition in their little bodies. The way that we help support the initiatives of this farm, because this is nonprofit work, is that late August purchases vegetables from here when we have an abundance, and Chef Sergio is in task with showcasing them in the best way. You're not frying it. You're gonna let that vegetable, which is hyper-local, completely organic, 100% organic, speak for itself. It's only a restaurant that we allow to buy anything from this farm. Great-grandmommy Lucille inspires everything that we do, from the first restaurant, Lucille's, and to our family's approach to service today. Her approach was all about, how can I better serve my community? That was it. That's where everything started. And I can genuinely say it's the same for us, is how can we serve our community with what we've been blessed with. I think if my great-grandmother could see what we're doing, she told me to do better. And she told me to clean this up, and we need more peas. And I think the ancestors of this space, who were, again, renowned watermelon farmers, would tell me that I need to do better with those melons. That's what I think.
Wow, who knew? It is just down the road. What a beautiful garden.
Really, really lovely, and great things that they're doing as well.
Yeah, well, up next, Mel Camp is following the fresh produce from Lucille's 1913 garden to the table. She is at the restaurant Late August in Midtown. What's up, Mel?
From Kendleton to the Ion, we are taking a look at how Late August is using some of the produce at Lucille's 1913 community garden to inspire some dishes that are a nod to history. Welcome back to Houston Life, and welcome to Late August in the Ion. Now, earlier today, we were at Lucille's 1913, a community garden in Kendleton, and there they are growing some produce that is being turned into amazing dishes here at Late August. Let's head into the kitchen and check it out. Chef Sergio!
Hey, how are you?
you doing?
Oh my goodness, I'm good now that I'm here in your kitchen. So this is really cool. I mean, there's a lot of produce that will be grown at Lucille's 1913, and you have crafted a couple of dishes on the menu here at Late August that are inspired by what's available in that garden.
Yeah. One of the main ones being the summer squash that we have coming out right now. The zucchini and everything mixed in, but yeah, the yellow squash really spoke to us, and
Wow,
we're
that's this
making
one
a
here?
dish. Yeah.
That
So it
looks
has-
delicious.
Thank you.
So you get the squash from the garden,
Yes.
and what else do you get from the garden?
Cherry tomatoes and watermelon, actually.
Watermelon?
Yeah.
You're very seasonal here at Late August. How much fun do you have, like seeing what's available and playing with it?
It is very fun. We have to pull it back, actually, to keep some consistency and keep on the stars, that people really like and learn to love. But yeah, it's really fun.
And how does it feel to be part of something which is bigger than just one restaurant? It's bigger than just one kitchen. You're helping feed so many people, and it's just such a great organization.
Yeah, me and Chris were talking about it the other day of cooking with purpose, finally. In other places, other restaurants, you cook for profit. And here we're cooking, we're giving back to the community, and we really do have a purpose through everything that we do.
That's amazing. All right, I'm feeling very hungry.
Tell you what, I'm going to put something together that has some watermelon in it, and then I'll bring it out to you.
Okay. Hey! I am excited for this. I am excited. Oh my goodness. All right, okay, this is the squash.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. Oh my gosh. All right, I feel like I should have a bite of the squash first.
Yes.
Do you feel pressure when people are eating food in front of you, or because normally you can be hiding in the kitchen?
Well, we have a huge window, so they can all see me and I watch them. But it's a little bit of pressure, but I like to see, when they're enjoying it and stuff. So.
Oh my goodness. This is so good.
Thank you.
Okay, I thought it was going to be very simple.
Yeah.
Because it is just some squash, but it's still a little crunchy, but delicious. And then just the flavors. Honestly, you guys here have got such a good layering of flavors in your food. Oh my gosh. What is this cream in it?
So it's it's called tunato sauce. So it's like a tuna and anchovy aioli, basically.
That's why it tastes so good.
Yeah, Chris was telling me about a summer squash casserole that his family would make. And I started talking about a tuna casserole that my grandma would make. We were able to put this together from all of the inspiration from the garden.
And a big part of Kendleton was the watermelons. They were very well known for the watermelons that were grown out there. And that is why this salad is such a special dish.
We have a little bit of suya dressing that we pour over it.
What's in that dressing?
So it's toasted sesame seed, fresh lime juice, and a little fish sauce.
Wow, and talk about what else is in this dish while I take a bite, because I can't wait any longer. And this is going to be good.
Yeah, it has cucumbers, cherry tomatoes from the garden, a watermelon obviously, a little bit of our fry bread, and toasted sesame seeds on top, and avocado,
Wow.
Yeah.
So watermelon, cherry tomatoes from the garden.
Yes. And the mustard greens, all of the garnishes you see throughout our menu. You'll see different inspirations from the garden, but the mustard frills, are very much pulled from there. We're cooking with very humble ingredients, but we're trying to, present them in a more elegant way, in a more sophisticated way, in ways that people haven't seen this food be done yet, I think that's why, like you said, it has different flavors. As we learn how to build those flavors from the bottom, a lot like my grandma did.
Wow, I love this.
Thank you.
The Lucille's 1913 garden salads.
Yeah.
Truly farm to table.
Yeah.
What does it feel like for you? What does it mean to you when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking with ingredients that are from a land that has so much history on it? And knowing that, this watermelon, these tomatoes, it's not just any old soil. This is soil that meant freedom in the beginning of a new life for so many people.
Yeah, and it feels inspirational to the point of, again, we're cooking with purpose, and the crew that I have, as small as we are here, they take it very serious and they put their heart and souls into it, to the point where people are out here eating the common compliment that we get is that it's so nostalgic. And I give that homage to our ancestors and everybody that were here in this soil, kind of, being with us, and we cook with the same ingredients that they did, So yeah, it's very powerful.
If you'd like to learn more about Lucille's 1913, its mission, and the restaurant late August, you can visit our website, HoustonLife.tv. Just look for that scene on Houston Life section.
And coming up, 160 years after the news of emancipation made its way to Galveston, a Houston-based dance collective is returning to the birthplace of Juneteenth.
How Nia's Daughters Movement Collective and the Nia Cultural Center are using art, memory, and movement to honor and inspire. That's when Houston Life returns. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the special Juneteenth edition of Houston Life, recognizing 160 years of emancipation in Galveston. Now, to honor the anniversary, two organizations are coming together for the official Juneteenth return.
Yeah, it's being called a celebration of liberation, legacy, and Black excellence. Please welcome Stacey Allen of Nia's Daughters Movement Collective and Sue Johnson with the Nia Cultural Center in Galveston. Ladies, welcome. I know it's a busy day. Thank you for making time for us here at Houston Life. Let's chat about the Nia Cultural Center. Sue, you're the founder of this center. Why did you start it, and what is the mission of it?
Well, I started the organization in the early 90s in response to an epidemic of youth violence that was around the country, and it didn't spare Galveston. So we started just as a means of trying to project a positive image on those kids who were not getting involved in violence and the things that were taking the headlines. So we started programming that helped children to, one, understand who they were, their history, and two, to uplift them and to provide opportunities for them to get involved in more positive activities.
That's such an incredible mission, and we're seeing some video now from the alliance there. Stacey, you are a native Houstonian. You're a choreographer. You have a BA in dance from Sam Houston State. Go Cats, eat 'em up, Cats. Is that what you say? So, who are, if you could describe the Nia's Daughter Movement Collective to people, who are they, and what do they bring to the celebration?
Yes, thank you so much for having us on here. So Nia's Daughters Movement Collective was founded in 2018, and our mission, we are a professional dance company, so we have a troupe of performers, and our mission is to create and support art and wellness initiatives through the lens of Black women and girls. And so we make an intentional effort to tell stories that really speak to African American history through the lens of Black women and girls. And even more specifically, we've been doing a lot of work about freedom in Texas and African American history in Texas in general. So that's why it's been the perfect collaboration to collaborate with Ms. Sue and to have this moment where we bring people back to Galveston for Juneteenth.
It does seem like the perfect partnership. And why do you think specifically music, dance, and the arts are such powerful vehicles to help remind us all of our history, where we've been and where we're going?
Our expressive culture really is the bedrock of who we are as a people, and I think that as we celebrate Juneteenth, it's really, really important to bring that forward. The legacy behind what Juneteenth is and Galveston's in particular positionality in that story is so critical, and because we are creative people and we are artists, that's the way that we know how to celebrate.
Yeah. Miss Sue, as we reflect on 160 years since Juneteenth, the emancipation, what does it mean to you? Why is it especially special this year?
Well, it's the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth, and I've been in Galveston all my life, and we celebrated Juneteenth as a community. But not until 2021 was made a federal holiday did everybody else get involved. So it's significant because it really kind of helps to help us all to reflect on what's happened, how that's affected what we currently experience, And then it also helps us to realize how far we still need to go for absolute equality. I don't know if you've seen it, but the Juneteenth mural that's outside our spot is a history of the Africans coming to the Americas and the whole story up to now. So it's a depiction of all of that, and we think that it helps to educate. It serves as an outdoor classroom to anybody. It's embedded with some augmented reality so that each part of that, each image, if you use the Uncover Everything app, you'll see more of the story as you point it at each image. There'll be more things to pop out. So it's a good storytelling and classroom experience.
It's a beautiful mural. In fact, we did an episode of Houston Life in front of that mural a few years ago. It's powerful. Cannot recommend it enough. Sue, you've really dedicated your life to telling these stories, to keeping this history alive. You mentioned you're from Galveston, proud mother and grandmother, and you have really dedicated your work to uplifting marginalized communities. For you and Stacy now to be working together, for you to see that there is a younger generation telling these stories and investing time to ensure we don't forget what happened, that's got to feel good.
Feels real good. And it's just a lot of good synergy, right? Both of us are BIPOC, BANF, BIPOC Arts Network Fund, Houston Cultural Treasures, right? And that helped to solidify a relationship we'd already established and gave us an opportunity to work together more. I'd seen Stacy's performance at the Caravan to the Ancestors, Sankofa Caravan to the Ancestors, and I was just in love with what they did. And it was such an extension of what we do. I mean, not just an extension, but it just helped in my community. What we do is kind of novel. There's not many others that do that. And so to have Stacy and her organization come in and work with us, it just helps to expand the story.
Absolutely. And it's important that people go out. Celebrate is a key word today. We have the event details for you going on tonight from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. The NIA Cultural Center, the headquarters of Juneteenth. OK, you'll have panel conversations and happy hour. That's Act 1. And then Act 2, the Jubilee at the Juneteenth mural that we were just talking about. Live music. There'll be a DJ. There will, of course, be dancing. And we want to say thank you so much to Stacey Allen and Miss Sue Johnson. You guys can find more information on our website, HoustonLife.tv.
And stay involved, by the way, because it's not just today. It is all month long. It really is all year long. So follow them on social, visit their websites, because they are always up to something interesting. Ladies, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Great to see you. And don't worry, that is not all, because when we come back, we're bringing Juneteenth history to life through dance.
Yeah, through the history of dance, Nia's Daughters Movement Collective will be performing a moving tribute to freedom and ancestry. Don't go anywhere, because Houston Life will be right back. Welcome back to Houston Life. Before the break, we spoke with Stacey Allen of Nia's Daughters Movement Collective and Sue Johnson with the NIA Cultural Center in Galveston.
One of the ways they are working to preserve the importance of Juneteenth is through music and dance. And ahead of tonight's official Juneteenth return event in Galveston, here's performer Shay Davis, accompanied by Toba Atkins Montana and Layla Glover, singing Wrapped Tight.
the place. It's right here in our space, 'cause I can see God in your eyes. No disguise, don't need it. No mask, can't see it. Lover, I believe in your sobriety. Everything I need in life. Your kiss, your touch, I feel it. Every time you're near me, baby, I sense it. It's so sublime. If this is what love is, baby, please cover me up. 'Cause I don't wanna lose this. Wrapped too tight in your love. I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the long haul. Wrapped in your arms. I'm here for the long haul. Wrapped in your arms. Love. Ooh. 'Cause I'm here for the long haul. Wrapped in your arms. Love has found its place in me. I hope this dream won't fade. Your truth has made its way to me. My heart will never be the same. Your love has found its place in me. My heart must never fade. Your truth has made its way to me. My heart. If this is what love is, won't you cover me up? 'Cause I don't wanna lose this. Wrapped too tight in your love. I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the long haul. Wrapped in your arms.
Okay, before we go today, we want to remind you about the official Juneteenth return happening at NIA Cultural Center tonight, the headquarters of Juneteenth. Get on out there. It all starts at 4 p.m. In the meantime, we want to thank Shay Davis, Toba Atkins, Montana, Layla Glover, Stacey Allen, Sue Johnson. Thanks, y'all, for making our Juneteenth so special.
It's a
That was
beautiful,
fantastic.
beautiful performance. And if you can do this in our tiny studio, the real thing is going to be awesome. Everyone go out and support.
Yes, happy Juneteenth. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, y'all.